My nonverbal daughter got detention for gang signs. She was asking for more milk. The incident report used the word gang 4 times in one single paragraph. Under the description of behavior, someone had written, "Student observed making rapid, aggressive hand gestures at multiple targets. Gestures consistent with gang-affiliated signaling." I read it twice, then a third time. My daughter Lily is 7 years old. She has been nonverbal her entire life. She communicates through American Sign Language because her voice doesn't work the way other kids' voices do. And this piece of paper claimed she was throwing gang signs. When I got to the school, Lily was sitting in a hard plastic chair outside the office, crying so hard she was hiccuping. When she saw me, she started signing frantically, way too fast for me to catch everything. Her tiny hands were trembling. I knelt down, cupped her fingers in mine, and signed, "Breathe. Tell me slow." Before she could answer, the vice principal stepped out. Mrs. Higgins. She had that tight, administrative smile and a folder in her hand. She thanked me for coming in quickly and gave me the speech about taking these matters seriously. I held up the incident report and asked, "You want to explain to me how my nonverbal daughter committed gang activity by asking for a beverage?" Mrs. Higgins walked me through the incident. A lunch monitor named Mrs. Baker was a new hire, only 3 weeks on the job. She had observed Lily making rapid hand movements at other students and reported it immediately. The school's zero-tolerance policy kicked in, resulting in automatic detention. I asked if Mrs. Baker knew my daughter was nonverbal. Mrs. Higgins paused. She said there may have been a briefing oversight regarding individual accommodations. I asked if anyone had bothered to check Lily's 504 plan before slapping a gang accusation on a second grader. The plan that had been on file for 3 years, the one that specifically states all staff must be informed about her communication needs. Mrs. Higgins didn't answer. I asked to see the report again. Mrs. Baker had described Lily as targeting multiple students with aggressive and intimidating gestures. She used the phrase gang adjacent twice. My daughter was signing to her friends, 2 girls who spent months learning basic ASL so Lily wouldn't have to eat lunch alone. And this woman saw a gang. I put the paper down and demanded a formal meeting the next day. I wanted Mrs. Baker in the room, a district representative present, and I told them I was bringing an ASL interpreter to translate exactly what my daughter was threatening people with. Mrs. Higgins started to protest something about procedures, but I cut her off. I told her, "You accused a disabled child of gang activity for talking to her friends. I will see you tomorrow." The next morning, we met in conference room B. Mrs. Higgins was at one end. Mrs. Baker was beside her, arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line. A district representative named Mr. Davis had a laptop open in front of him. On my side, I had my husband, ASL interpreter named Sarah who I'd worked with for years, and a thick folder containing Lily's documentation. Mr. Davis asked Mrs. Baker to explain her report. She straightened up and said she observed a student making rapid gestures at multiple children. She called them aggressive and intimidating. She said, "In my experience, that kind of signaling is gang-related." Sarah, the interpreter, raised an eyebrow but said nothing. I asked Mr. Davis to play the cafeteria footage. He turned his laptop so everyone could see. There was Lily sitting with her friends signing. The other girls were signing back. It was clumsy, but they were trying. At one point, Lily laughed silently and signed something that made her friend giggle. Sarah translated as she watched the screen. "More milk, please, funny, your silly friend, thank you." When the footage ended, Sarah looked at Mrs. Baker and asked, "Which part was the gang activity?" Mrs. Baker said nothing. I slid the 504 plan across the table and read the highlighted line out loud. "All staff interacting with the student must be informed of communication accommodations." I looked at the vice principal. Was Mrs. Baker informed? Yes or no? Mrs. Higgins cleared her throat and admitted there was a gap in their onboarding. Yes or no? No. I turned to Mrs. Baker. "Show me the sign you reported, the specific one." Mrs. Baker hesitated, then mimicked the gesture she saw. She held her hand flat and tapped her fist on top of it twice. Sarah's voice was like a slap in the quiet room. "That is the ASL sign for help." Nobody spoke. Mr. Davis closed his laptop. He announced that the detention was reversed and the record was cleared. He told Mrs. Higgins he needed a full report on their protocols by Friday. And he looked at Mrs. Baker and said, "You're being reassigned effective immediately, pending additional training." Mrs. Baker opened her mouth to argue, but Mr. Davis shook his head and said, "Don't, just don't." I took my husband's hand and we walked out without saying another word. In the parking lot, I went to pick up Lily. She tugged my sleeve and signed something slow and careful SORRY. I stopped and knelt down so I was eye level with her. I signed back, "You did nothing wrong. Those girls are your friends. Talking to them is good. I'm proud of you." She hugged me so hard I almost fell over. I filed a formal complaint with the district that afternoon. We found out later that Mrs. Baker didn't come back after winter break.